to Bill Flynn in the morning.
Good morning. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour with GrowinGreen, and the website is GrowinGreen.com. And we always love to hear about, really this time of year, there's so much going on in your lawn, around your home, that you gotta, if you want it to be right, you gotta pay attention to these things. And Tommy Cowett with GrowinGreen. Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
Good morning, Bill.
You know, all of these shows that show up on the Home and Garden Network or all the other do-it-yourself networks, all of them, they say, okay, let's have a really nice outdoor area. And they'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars for, to put an arbor up or some new decking, or take advantage of the slope of the lawn and have a multi-level deck. And then you stop and think, you got all this going on. And if the lawn isn't right, if the plants are dead, you're looking at the Addams Family front yard.
Absolutely. We have a great example of that is what's going on at Paul Senior Botanical Garden right now.
Tell me about that.
And we are involved with the Paul Senior Botanical Garden, which is coming to life. They're having a tulip festival this weekend. Probably 300 or 400 people will be there for 3 or 4 hours. They've got some amazing tulips that actually come back, but we're helping with the lawn. There's going to be weddings and bands, orchestras playing out on that great lawn. It's a new lawn. It's a brand new lawn. It was planted last fall. And
that's a challenge to get something to turn around.
Yes.
As a brand new organism, really.
It is. It's a living thing.
Yes,
Bill.
yes.
And we're making it grow. Mm-hmm. But no, there's going to be challenges with that. A lot of traffic on that lawn, so it's going to be treated for,
Well, tell me a little bit too about treating for traffic. If you have a corner lot, and a lot of kids like to do the shortcut across the lip of the lawn there,
right?
Or but there are some things you can do to give a better carpet, if you will.
Just a little more TLC, more of this biostimulants. These have been used for years by golf courses to de-stress that turf, kind of build roots. Really, it's all about the roots. We use products that actually promote more root growth. We're growing the plant from the roots up. If you got no roots, you got no top. The more roots you have, building these roots with humic acids, with humates, with organic matter, giving more life to the soil. We're adding microorganisms to the soil that live with the plant, help the roots, grow the roots. That's the key, because you're going to lose top. All kinds of environmental stresses attack the top. And footprint is, stomping, dancing, walking, you name it.
Well, dogs, if you have them in the backyard, they tend to they make their own paths, especially if there's a dog next door and there's a fence between them. They're running back and forth. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that.
There's probably not much you can do. I mean, he's going to keep beating it up. But with these microorganisms we're using, you can really help. It softens the soil. Keep adding. I mean, something like that's what we call high maintenance turf. A lot of the golf courses, they have approaches, or that space between the cart path and the tee box, it's constantly being walked on. Those areas need extra added, additions to the soil in the way of what we call biostimulants.
And similarly, if it may not be foot traffic, but maybe it's a real high sun area where it's getting an awful lot of moisture from runoff because it's a low area of your lawn, you have to compensate for these kinds of things too.
Oh, you absolutely do. I mean, I've had a really good one this week, but what really shows how the GrowinGreen program works as opposed to one of these synthetic programs where...
Can you draw that comparison a little bit right now? What you're saying?
What happens on a lawn when you're on a synthetic program, you're leaving yourself wide open to environmental stresses. And what happened this past week with the frost? There was a 25-degree nighttime temperature, I believe, on this past Saturday, which triggered some disease, a cool weather disease called dollar spot, attacked a lot of tall fescue plants. Last year I saw this on zoysia.
Now, dollar spot, is it actually little black marks on the blades of grass or little burned out areas looking? What is it?
Well, it got its name from the golf green where you're mowing, at 1/100th of an inch. And what it looks like is a silver dollar. It's about the size of a silver dollar. Okay. And it's a patch. It's patch disease, and it just kills the top. It does not kill the root, but it will wipe out. And you'll have on dollar spot on the green, you'll have all these little spots everywhere.
And that, again, is caused by the cold temperature.
Well, it triggered it.
Yeah, it triggers it. Just even one-time exposure doesn't take multiple days.
A little bit of stress, and it, boom, you're going to lose that top. Well, this, in tall fescue, I'd like to call it softball spot because it really is bigger. You're just, a lot more leaf area is exposed to it. So this guy, he was treating his dog lot, whereas he's got 3 big, large, I guess they are Labrador retrievers, and they run all over this place. And he's got this reason why he uses the store-bought stuff for crabgrass, and it's a very popular name brand. So we don't treat in the dog lot. He had a reason for it, but he really needed to have us treat. The rest of his lawn, I'm talking an immaculate lawn. I'm talking this guy, he's out there every day working. An amazing landscape over in Burlington. Well, dollar spot ran rampant in that dog lot. Did not touch any of our turf that we had been treating.
How about that? What a testimony.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're looking at it, it's just point blank. Look at that, and I'm trying to explain to him that there's more benefits than just good, healthy turf in the dog lot area. These microorganisms actually will, decay and utilize the urea and the fecal matter that the dogs are putting down and dripping, and it will actually, degrade it.
I see.
So it's a good thing for deodorizing, for softening the soil in a dog lot. So what we're doing is great for dog lots, for backyards with dogs.
Because I actually had that conversation a few days ago with my GrowinGreen man. He called and just said tell me this status quo. Calls me and says, I'm coming out tomorrow in the morning sometime. Just want you to know. And don't want to surprise anybody. And that's
giving you a call ahead.
I called him back.
You need to get your dogs in.
I called him back and said, listen, we're going to be away from the house, and we'll have the dogs taken care of. Don't worry about that. Do what you need to do. And that communication is so critically important, I think.
It is. We want the folks to stay off the lawn for about an hour just to let the liquid material dry on the plant. And then you're good to go. And there's nothing toxic about it. It's just, you don't want to get it on your shoes or whatnot, and your dogs don't need to be tramping through it. Not that there's anything toxic about it. It's just
I guess, just being, caution certainly, but being circumspect, and being prudent is the word I'm looking for.
Paint a wall, don't tack it.
There you go.
Don't touch it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back with Tommy Cowett of GrowinGreen. You got a question for our lawn expert? Now's a great time to ask. At 896-1980.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
It's AM 980 The Eagle. 20 minutes after 9:20. The Eagle Info Hour this morning. We're always glad to welcome GrowinGreen to the house, and the website growingreen.com, GrowinGreen.com. And with us this morning, Tommy Cowett. Last week we got to spend some time with Jonathan Rigsby between the two of you. I know last week you were saying, I got to get out of here right now after the show was over because you had some appointments 20 minutes down the road to get to.
Oh, yeah.
What kinds of things are people asking you that are signing up with GrowinGreen? What are the routine, commonly asked questions, if you will?
Well, number one is, hey, how's this affect my pets, my dogs?
Is that really that high up there?
Almost the number one big question.
I understand it as a dog lover, and I have 3 dogs, but I didn't realize that many people were looking out that much for their pets. That's good.
And they want to know that it's safe. They want to know that this, and I explain all the benefits of, how it actually does clean the turf, clean the air. I mean, it's helping to give them a better surface to run on and play on, and it's so beneficial.
And when you say clean the surface, you mean clean the surface of the turf itself, of the lawn, of the soil? Help me understand that a little bit better.
Well, really, it's cleansing the earth. I mean, you're growing soil with the microbiology.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, you are actually, decaying a lot of bad stuff that might be in the soil. It's decaying organic matter, improving the root system of the plant. You're getting oxygen from that, a cooling effect from the turf. On a parking lot, you could have 105 ambient degrees temperature in the summertime and just walk over onto the lawn and it drops about 20 degrees.
It's a huge thing. It's one of the reasons we love our lawns, is it gives us that escape.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's a cooling effect. You want it. I mean, we go back to the Dust Bowl era, and see what happened when, everybody was farming and clearing the land and no one was planting anything back. And as a result, there was a lot of new turf research that began and to grow a cover. And tall fescue just happens to occupy about 400 million acres in the United States.
As you say that, 400 million acres, and here's a homeowner saying, listen, for my 1/3 of an acre, all I want is just my 1/3 of an acre. The 400 million, that's fine, but how do I get that kind of effect you're talking about, that long, thick, healthy lawn that's so healthy it actually pushes weeds away?
Oh, yeah.
It mitigates, the problems that affect lawns that are weaker or less well-rooted.
It takes time. There are enemies of turf out there like crabgrass. Crabgrass can come in. That's the number one enemy. That's our number one enemy. Right now is the time to control the crabgrass.
If you're out there raking up the crabgrass or pulling it up, have you hit it's too late? I mean, has it already done a lot of damage by that point?
It does. It does a severe damage. It's really hard to get rid of once you get it. You can kill it off once it comes up. Probably best thing to do is to kill it off with Roundup. A lot of people look at their lawn, or I've seen folks go, hey, my lawn is, really severely drought stressed right now. But that guy's lawn is green. This is in the middle of summer, like in July. Why is his lawn green? He's never done anything to it. Well, that's all crabgrass. And I can tell you what's going to happen now. This winter, that's going to die. There's nothing but crabgrass there. It's not going to come back. That's an annual plant. But it can choke out a lawn.
And the best way to keep crabgrass away is that healthy lawn that just says, puts a stop sign up to the crabgrass.
Once you get it. Right now we're preventing it with the pre-emergent herbicides. And that's so important to put down your pre-emergent herbicides right now.
So a visit to our house, I don't know, it was, say, Wednesday of last week. Is that the standard protocol would be pre-emergence at that point?
That's what our technician did on your lawn, was he put down the pre-emergent, and he probably cleaned up any weeds that were there. What we're looking at now are winter annuals. They are going to die eventually with the heat. They won't be around. But it's key to prevent this crabgrass from invading your lawn.
Is
choke it out.
Yeah, and I've had that battle before, and the crabgrass generally has been more victorious than I, because it is hard to eradicate this stuff. And it loves certain areas of my lawn. I know where it's going to show up if it's going to show up.
It loves full sun. So if you've got a sunny lawn, you're gonna, usually.
Now, is this part of the country particularly prone to crabgrass issues, or is this a nationwide?
Nationwide. Yeah, crabgrass is Digitaria sanguinalis, and it is
now look at
worst.
You. Okay.
Invasive weed. It comes up from seed, and it's millions. One crabgrass plant can produce something like 2 million seeds. So,
see, it's one of the great injustices of of all of horticulture that which is the easiest to progress and grow is the least desirable.
It is
in many ways. And then the stuff you want, you really gotta
work
spend some time.
Yeah. And once you get it, you can really, a thick lawn. It's the truth. A big, thick, healthy lawn will prevent weeds from coming into it.
Beautiful thing.
A naturally treated lawn like we do with the biology is really less susceptible to disease, stresses from heat. So you're really, with this biological approach, as opposed to going to the big box and buying the synthetic stuff. You're just doing the world a service because you're really putting the biology back in the soil and you're building soil.
You know, you mentioned at our last moment together for me to do something, which I followed through. I did a 3-inch cut on the lawn.
Little blow.
And you told me that it would just wake it up. And you know what it was like? It did. Right. And it was like, you know, those NASCAR moving filters for the camera where it gets all the debris on it, you know, sure. And then it rolls past to a fresh patch and it's all clear again. Right. It was kind of like that. Nice. Doing the first cut because it woke things up and it cleared, you know, a lot of the debris that I was able to, you know, get out of the way. And it just freshened things up.
It gets, and you smell that fresh cut grass.
Yeah, and you realize how much you missed that.
Oh, I know.
For the last few months along the way. Anyway, we're going to take a short break and come back with more. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour with agronomist Tommy Cowett with Growing Green. And you can go to the website, growingreen.com, GrowinGreen.com. And you can join us this morning at 896-1980. Have you got a particularly big or concern or problem area in your lawn? Let us know about it. We may be able to help right here on the radio.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
Good morning. It's 9:36. We continue with our Love Your Lawn Hour with Growing Green. And these folks are here to help you really enjoy your lawn, help you grow a lawn that's going to be increasingly self-maintaining, to make a phrase here. I mean, that's really the goal, isn't it? Let nature kind of take the lead here.
Build that soil, build that root system, and then you've really got yourself a self-sustaining lawn. And, you know, don't bag your clippings, put them back, recycle, you know. Very good. And grass cycling is what they call it, basically. But get a self-sustaining system going there. Build those roots. Build that turf.
You know, you've invested some to get that healthy lawn and that healthy clipping, really.
Sure.
And it's just reusing that which you've already bought and paid for in a sense.
Sure. I mean, Mother Nature made a deal between the plant and the microbes in the soil, and they have to work together. You know, where the plant is giving the microbes sugars. And in turn,
it's trick or treat for the microbe.
The microbes are giving back nitrogen to the plant, sequestering nitrogen from the atmosphere, giving it to that plant free, helping the plant, mycorrhiza fungi working in conjunction inside the plant, outside the plant. And
it's amazing to me
helping feed that plant.
It gets to that level of detail. And you were telling me about something called biochar and how this actually does exactly what you're talking about, this symbiotic relationship between plant and soil, and this biochar helps that relationship. Tell me about that.
I am so excited about biochar. A lot of folks are. Well, it's like compost, but it's not. It's made from wood, and it's charcoal, basically. It's when you take wood, and you've seen what happens with say you finish burning just a campfire, and you're ended up with the charcoal. Mm-hmm. And it's burnt. Well, this is where everything's been burned out of that wood, all the toxins, everything. All you're left with is a carbon structure. And this is like a crystalline structure. This one particular product called Miramichi that we're working with now, it's amazing. It's like condominiums for microorganisms. And you put
with no people and no furniture in them. It's a structure.
Right, move in today, special. I'm telling you. And coupled with the microorganisms that we're applying to the lawn, with this granular product put down, you've actually, you can inoculate this biochar with those microorganisms, and you've got yourself one of the best self-sustaining additives for the soil you can ever imagine.
Now, this is a new product or relatively new to the market?
Well, Miramichi's produced on a massive scale right here in North Carolina. The company is out of Wilmington, but the plant where they're making this material is somewhere between here and Raleigh, I believe, and they can actually impregnate that biochar with nutrients, minerals, micronutrients,
So is it also in professional large-scale agriculture that this has an application?
Absolutely.
As well as my front lawn?
Yes, and I tell you what, their big push right now is going to universities because universities actually are subject to paying for their carbon footprint to the government. They can get carbon credits for using this material.
Because it so effectively helps this relationship you talk about between the microorganism and the plant itself.
Right, and this carbon that they're purchasing and applying to their soil, their landscapes, I'm not really sure how they get the carbon credits, but they can use the Miramichi, apply that, and they're actually entitled to carbon credits. Sort of like Al Gore would buy carbon credits for flying his jet. You know, and he doesn't want to feel so bad about it, you know, so he buys the carbon credits to offset the jet and the mansions and all that stuff. Well, you know, universities have the same sort of issue, you know, with the physical plants that they have and whatnot.
Well, that's an important thing. You talk about a university setting. How important the campus looks to a first-time visitor or to somebody that goes there routinely, and there's an expectation that this is going to be a well taken care of number of acres, and every college brochure, they're probably taking their photographs right now, this time of year and or fall, to show the beauty of the campus. And you guys, I didn't realize this, but you are part of that for High Point University.
That's right. Oh, working with Nito Cobain and that group over there, Matt Mahoney, these guys are second to none. And
that's a stunning campus.
Mr. Rothling, who's the curator of the horticulture over there, the plants. If there's a new plant selection out there on the market, they get it. They got to have one. It's like, I got to have that. It's an amazing, amazing plant.
But I've been to High Point University and always been impressed with, gosh, especially in recent years, how much growing and new construction and just the look of the campus. I mean, it is
I'm awed
stunning.
every time I step foot on that campus. It's just amazing.
But that's a good example. You've got new construction sites where they finish the structure. They say, okay, now make it pretty. And you guys got to do something.
We work on it. We work hard on it. Yep, there's no question about it. There's about 10 acres of turf that we do, and we do help them with their ponds, too, to keep the algae out of the ponds. But we will, I just love going to the campus, but we do a program on that lawn, on the lawns, and, we just... It's just, I love being there. It's the most beautiful place.
Well, and part of that, there's a magic for a beautiful college campus that we're talking about here. It just gives you a different place. It takes you to a different place.
That one is probably just on the top. I don't know why they have not won number one in the country in a national award yet for their landscape.
Well, I'm sure Nito Cobain is well aware of the one award he hasn't gotten there. So
they're going to get one. There's no doubt. I mean, they're long overdue for a major award.
And translating that, to the power of GrowinGreen coming to your lawn and giving you that, that photographic brochure lawn that we all kind of want. The lawns that we see that are featured on your website, what you can do over time, even in stressed environments, is really the goal for so many homeowners.
Hey, and we could give it to them. I tell you, I'm out right now. John Rigsby's got me out taking pictures of a lot of our lawns. And, I've got before and after pictures going back. It's really fun to go look at see what it looked like before. Now with the technology we've got with the, Samsung Galaxy S phones, we can take pictures. And
I've got a story for you about exactly that and social media that I don't even know if you're aware of it, but it has to do with GrowinGreen. We'll get to that and much more in 2 minutes on The Eagle.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
Good morning. 9:46, 14 before 10 o'clock. Bill Flynn this morning. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour. And already in our final segment this morning, it's been a fast-moving, informative show. Tommy Cowett is with us from GrowinGreen. And I did want to mention, you're working on something new for your website, and it has to do with what you call case studies. Now, tell me about that.
Case studies, basically how we've turned something around. I mean, one we've talked about before was the Stokesdale Parks and Recreation athletic fields that were condemned by the North Carolina Youth Soccer Association due to a sedge. They did not want to have their referees on this field.
Due to a sedge. Now,
a sedge was a clumping grass that was a trip hazard.
I see, okay. Yeah.
So that needed to be eradicated. And it's a tough one. It's called scleria, and it's a really bad, they call it nut rush. It's sort of like nut sedge, but it's not. It's nut rush. And it's awful. And we were able to clean that up, beat these fields up. I mean, we really went in and fixed it. And they were able to open it and have a very successful tournament last fall.
Great.
So
yes.
that's a case study. That's where, it was a success story.
So you had a clinically condemned piece of property.
Right.
That was not usable for its intended purpose, period.
Exactly. It was awful.
And they picked up the phone and they called 1-866-LAWN-HELP from Stokes County, or they contacted you on the website and said, get out here and make this work, and you knew how to do that.
I had to get up before the town of Stokesdale at a meeting and explain what we were going to do that. And I guess there was 50 or 60 people there, and they agreed.
And some of them were probably mom and dads of these players.
Sure, there was.
Because I mean, that's a serious,
mayor and
serious thing,
else.
though. I mean, if you have an impediment on a field like that and you're stumbling, I mean, you're breaking a leg or twisting an ankle or those kinds of things routinely, and that's why it had to be condemned, I guess. Right?
They didn't want their refs on there. Could ACL. Damage. Could really mess somebody up
in a heartbeat. Well, I think it's a great thing to have people like the county of the town of Stokesdale actually bringing you in the Senior Botanical Garden. Your help there. Your High Point University says, okay, we want to have a great looking university brochure they call GrowinGreen. That gives you, I think, an awful lot of
good testimonials,
street cred, if you will.
There's no question. I mean, we're able to service High Point University before the sun comes up, and we're in and out of there. We'll have 6 rigs over there ready to go first thing in the morning, and we get it done. 10 acres and you're out.
I bet you at that time of day you still see some of the late night partying students that haven't gone to bed yet.
They're under the benches and hey son, you need to get out of there. We gotta.
Well, actually, High Point University is a glimmering example of really great higher education, and we're thrilled to. Actually, we've had Nito Cobain, the president, on the show before, and just had great discussions with him. So
I love his vision and what he's
amazing.
been able to accomplish there is just amazing.
But he does, and back to Nito, he does it with the best people. He gets the best architects. He gets the best builders. He gets the best horticulturalists and agronomists, people growing green.
We're love to be part of it,
All right. Well, hey, I did want to get your just a quick opinion. Ann and I, over the weekend, we took a trip down Interstate 40 to Nashville, Tennessee, to see 2 of our sons. And I saw something and I said, I bet Tommy Cowett can explain this a little bit better. A lot of I-40, especially between Knoxville and Nashville, there were trees that you could see had fallen into the interstate or onto the shoulder that had to be cut back. And at first I thought, has there been a blight or something? Because there were thousands and thousands of trees that were just horrifically damaged, that were on their side, that were, spilling over. And it almost looked like the forest was encroaching, like a whole thing was moving to the interstate. And upon a little more reflection,
that's catastrophic.
It really is. And it was a rough winter. And I mention that because a lot of homeowners may be sharing some of the same concerns now.
We see this. I'm still seeing the damage, especially in Pleasant Garden. They really took a hit. The ice must have really got on those trees really thick, and everything crumbled.
Snapped the limbs off, just actually broke big sections of the tree, split them.
It kills them and weakens them, and you just.
Is it possible though a tree to have survived this tough winter and you're still standing there, but it has a death sentence on it? I mean, are there some structural things or some concerns it may have that you don't see right away?
I think as long as trees are remarkable at recovery. We've seen that with herbicide injury from a goofed plant product that was put on the market back. And the trees, as long as there's good microbiology in the soil, can recover. That's the good thing about it. In the forest, you never have to really, you never fertilize a forest. Everything's going on there. Everything's working.
It finds a way.
Yes,
to do its
and
own.
I'm sure much more likely to survive in the forest and recover than if it was in an urban environment where, it's concrete.
Well, it is more stressful to put a plant in an urban environment, to,
Sure.
put those stresses and pressures, whether it's the temperature differential, the ability of soil to hold water or what have you. All of these things stress we put the greatest stress on the areas where we want it the most.
Yeah, we do. And everybody has expectations of what they want. We can give it to them. We normally can.
Well,
help
we
them
all
get
want that golf course kind of look.
Sure.
And I know you actually take care of golf courses too.
We do. We have a great little golf course we maintain in High Point, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of retired gentlemen there, and that it's sort of like a mini Augusta. It's fun to work on. I mean, it's a 3-4 year project in the works to clean it up. They have great greens. We're not doing anything with the greens. We're primarily just working on the fairways. And it's kind of a challenge sometimes because these guys, you can see the whole course from the clubhouse, but they still like to use golf carts. It's
That's my kind of people there.
It's a lot of fun. You're over there, and everybody. The beer is the big thing, and we had to shut down the course last year after we'd done some seeding and aerating. We just wanted to stay off these particular places. But they're like, well, how am I going to get my beer around now? I need 3 to get from.
Well, sure.
To get from here to hole number 3,
I think
I
we
got no
need
place to put my beer. Got to have a cart.
Sell them on drone delivery of beer.
Yeah, they could hire in some temporary help to
stay
bring
off the
beer.
turf. Yeah, just do whatever they need to do. That's another thing. People are going to be watching the Masters and looking at world class horticultural care and placement of plants and
manicure.
the greatest, really, probably almost anywhere on the planet Earth. You could say it is the most well-maintained, manicured, paid attention to plot of acreage, probably anywhere
in the world.
And you're going to see, and everybody's going to say, "I want that."
I don't blame them.
And it's gorgeous.
It is. I mean, it's like every blade is manicured.
Holy moly!
Every blade of grass on that golf course.
And we're watching this, and we, I want to go hit a putter or a weak iron in the front yard or something, and
sure, go chip around. Oh man, watching the Masters is just, it's great.
But do you get inspired as a horticulturalist, as a agronomist, when you see how things pop on HD or Ultra HD TV, where you can see that blade of grass you were just talking about?
Sure, I love watching course. Pebble Beach. That's an amazing course there. That's all that. What's Bermuda grass overseeded with ryegrass, but it's just beautiful.
And it works for them.
Oh, yeah.
But see, the thing is, if you're not in these areas of the country, you're going to have to find another way to get where you want to go.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, every area is different, in the Arizona desert, they're growing beautiful turf.
Something.
Texas, with the water restrictions, they're still able to grow great turf. They really have the highest pressure in the world, probably Texas, because of the population, but they've been able to manage the water use. And turf is actually a filter for that water. And they understand it's important. It's not like, oh, you can't water your lawn. Well, we realize we've got to be limited on the way we water our lawns.
Well, we are limited on our time together, and it's just about up. But Tommy Cowett, I want to thank you. It's a
Thank
Love
you,
Your
Bill.
Lawn Hour. Let me encourage you to call the experts at GrowinGreen. The phone number, easy to remember, is 1-866-LAWN-HELP. 1-866-LAWN-HELP. This is a great time to make that phone call to GrowinGreen. New customers get a really great discount, too. The website is growingreen.com, and we'll see you next Tuesday with GrowinGreen right
All
here.
right,
The
thank you,
Eagle,
Bill.
AM 980, The Eagle.